Garima, first of all, thank you for joining us, and we congratulate you having scored 91% in CDCS exam. I believe the date was 17th April. You had appeared and got this 91%. So a big congratulations from all of us. We
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, so just we want to understand from you, what was your strategy for CDCS exam?
So first, I would like to thank you because all this is possible because of your training. I started this study in August, but till I had attended your training, I was nowhere. So I started reading ISBP, but I had read the book before I saw your first presentation, but the understanding what I had before the presentation and after the presentation was huge. So in August 2022, I started my journey, but somehow September, October, November, December, till mid-January, there was a long break. But the presentations which I had attended with Sir in August were there. Even when I started in January, I had not forgotten. So it leaves a very big impact on you. And I'm not talking about while the session is happening. While the session, for sure, you have to attend. But after the session is over and before you start the next session, I would request everyone to go through that particular presentation at peace, because that you have to just do one time when you did with Sir, and there could be a possibility that you miss also few things when the actual lecture is going on. But the presentation has to be done afterwards, and highlighting, I mean, you could be highlighting your notes in a hard copy or a soft copy. Do highlight that, because the moment you highlight, you kind of read that thing again. The repetition is the key. I guess the success for this examination is the repetition. The more you read, the more you hear, you succeed. One thing is very clear, the language is not difficult. It's written in a very simple language, and Sir's explanation makes it even more easier. So first, either read it before or attend the lecture. Then while you are attending the lecture, your understanding is better. But even if you have not been able to read the topic before, no problem. Listen to what has been there, what Sir is telling you, but afterward that week, do repeat that lecture. So that's the first thing I did. I saw all the presentations. So few I did in August. And after that, you see, I started my journey again in January mid. I didn't get the chance to repeat those presentations. If you are eyeing at 3 months, I would say it's a bit tight. I would say a comfortable 4 months is the period you should keep, because in those 4 months, there will be days when you will not study. There'll be some family function or some commitment, or you're not keeping well. So it's not practical to study every day. So out of these 4 months, 100 days of study is important. Because it is easy, because it is well explained by Sir, it is very easy. I mean, I won't say very easy, but the scores, like if I can get 95, I'm sure that everyone can get 95. So I knew it. I was very confused. I was scared also before taking the exam. So I can say everyone can get it. But the only strategy is go through the presentations individually, one by one, read Gary Collier. And when I'm saying reading, means Gary Collier, UCP 600, ISBP, and UR. That's it. The other 3 things like Incoterms, EUCP, and SBLC, you can just see Sir's presentation. You don't need to even touch the notes. I didn't even touch. I didn't even read them. I didn't bother to confuse myself. Even if you see Sir's presentation, for the only presentation which I saw twice was SBLC, which I would also recommend. It has some difficult language. You don't have to understand word by word. Just understand the gist of SBL. That's enough for you to succeed in this exam. And apart from that, I would say the first reading, you may not understand everything, but if you have already listened to the presentation, you will understand quite good. The second reading, do it very thorough. Don't rush that I have to finish. This is my second thing. I have to finish, and third, I will do my final. No, do it at your pace and understand everything. Wherever you have problems, please get in touch with me, sir, anyone who has cleared the exam, who is available to take, don't just jump into the next topic, because sir helped me understand so many things in between. Because of one small little thing, I was unable to go further. So that is very important, that if you have not understood something, please highlight and ask, because every single sentence written in these 4 books, as I mentioned, is important. Then after your second reading, do your question answer sessions. Sir has 10 tests, plus there are LIBF 3 tests. Do that. Don't keep this for last minute. Do these, because while you are doing that, you will understand that to what extent you have to do the third reading. While you're doing this question, you have to say, oh, that minutely I have to read that chapter, that point I have to take care of. So once you know what exactly is to be read, it will be, and you can relate more to that topic while you are doing those questions, and you will say, oh shit, I read this, but I didn't read it so nicely that I could answer this question. Then you will go back to that particular topic, you will see, oh, this is what it meant, and so these question answer sessions will basically guide you to go to the depths of your reading. And third, the final reading, you are ready for the exam. I don't think so you need more than 3 readings. Everyone has their own grasping power, but even if you have very good grasping power, still I would say at least go for 3 readings. If you feel that you need one more, you can. You can go for 4th reading, 5th reading, as per your comfort. But 3 good readings will help you achieve 80%. Plus, I can guarantee that. If I can get 90, then for sure, I can guarantee.
We wanted to understand from you, there are 2 parts, right? Part A and part B. So for part A, 60 multiple choice questions, what was your strategy for that? And especially, I would like to know, part B also will have 10 multiple choice, but some type of analytical type question would be there. So total 70 multiple choice questions are there, right? So for multiple choice question, what was your strategy?
Sir, I guess my strategy is what you told me, was to read. Every time you kept telling me read, read and read. And for the third reading, what I thought, that in the second reading, I was highlighting few things. And while I was doing the third reading, I thought I will just read the highlighted portion. But I didn't do that. I read everything, and I guess that was the success. You don't have to read the highlighted part, because sometimes the meaning when you highlight changes with what the text is trying to tell you. So when you are talking about third reading, give 2 weeks to yourself, at least 10 days, and read every single word, I would say. Because when you read the whole paragraph and the sentence, then the real meaning you come out. Otherwise, you skip, few things, and your understanding is not correct. And you will see that while you're reading the third, you are actually, if you're in Europe, you would say you are running on thylacine, or if you're in India, you're saying you are running at the Shatabdi speed, because it is so fast. My first reading took me 1.5 months. My second reading took me 3 weeks. And my third reading was practically 6 days. So that's where the speed goes. And after my second reading, I told sir, let me take my exam. And he guided me that, Garima, if you can extend it for 10 days and do one more reading, then it's very beneficial. I would say that. And I would say, sir, pass hi hona. But sir was like, no, don't. So I will come back to that. But I did extend. I would say that was the wisest call I did. I did extend. I did my third reading. and that was just fine polishing of what you have read. Everything was crystal clear in front of your mind. Questions are not the same what you see or what you have done in those question answer sessions, but those question answer sessions are so important because they help you memorize few things, or they help you go back to that topic again and again. So the question might not be the same, but very similar context. So you are reading that article again and again. So the new question you will be able to solve because you have read that point so many times. So question answer sessions are important. Reading line by line is very important. Initially, itni moti book, third time you have to read, but that's the key. And I guess that reading, every single reading after second reading gives you 10 marks, I would say. If after second reading I was scoring 70, so after third reading I'll score 80, and after fourth probably 90. So here I got 1 mark luckily, but the way I would say that 80 after third reading is a decently achievable score.
What about the part B? Did you do something special for yourself related to simulation exercise?
No, sir, I could not do. I do very, so I don't have a long trade finance background. I have only 2 years of trade finance background where I don't check documents so much. Probably once a month, I would check one document, or, so it's not that I'm checking documents a lot. And moreover, we are more of a exporters bank, the negotiating bank. So I'm not even receiving too many client application forms. I've not dealt with that much. But I guess even in simulation, whatever you have read in the text, somewhere that will only help. Because when you have to highlight the discrepancies, for example, I had a question on multimodal. I had a combined, that was an airway bill, and airway bill was not signed. Like the carrier name was not mentioned, and in the LC it says that freight forwarder airway bill acceptable, right? So the discrepancy said that the carrier is not signed, but we have to understand that the freight forwarder bill acceptable means the carrier does not need to be identified. So this is what we are not receiving in practical life. So end of the day, every discrepancy also, it's not what you see more on the practical front. Some experience will always be there, but the text will only help. Even the discrepancy part, I would say it's the text, what you have read there, where the signatures are important. For example, there was a certificate which was not signed, or invoice was not signed, it does not need to be signed. So all that comes from the text. And whereas in part B, the other 10 questions which came, they were kind of simple and they were short. The questions were not long in my case. So, so there's not so much to worry, but yes, there were calculations. Very simple, easy calculations. If you have done SIRS test, then I'm sure the level of exam would be easier. But why I would say don't take those tests easy, because those tests will, I'm again saying, they will help you go back to the main book and see how the question is generated and try to get into the concept, the conceptual part of it. Once you've understood the concept, you can solve any question. So there will be no challenge on that side.
Okay, so you want to say that no need to worry about simulation exercise. If you are thorough with UCP and ISBP, maybe it will be an easier job for you to basically score a good marks in simulation, right? So just question bank, since you are telling, just I want to have your feedback. The quality of the questions are available, 1,000 questions are there. How do you rate those questions? How these questions help basically?
So I would say they are tougher. The questions which are there are more challenging. Some part, not 100%. a good 20-30% of those questions are more challenging than what we see in the exam. But because of that challenge, you go back and read the text in a better way. That's why when the questions come in the exam, you find it easier. So, there is a driving force on those tougher questions, which go back you to read well, and then you're able to solve easy questions well. So they all are connected. I would say they are 100% important for everyone to do. But towards the end, I would say just before the exam, don't confuse yourself with these questions. Just before the exam, 1 week, 10 days, read everything. First or second chapter, you can still read once or twice. You can skip the third time. But apart from that, every single chapter you need to read at least 3 times. Sir's presentation once while you are attending. If you have missed that, no problem. At least once after. That is the key. I did not miss any presentation of Sir because that made the subject and the topic much more simpler. And there were times when after reading the text, after going to the presentation, I still had questions, which Sir was there to help me. So I guess that's how you have to do. Not only the text, so while you are talking, like listening to you again, not only just the reading text, because when you are talking, not everything is put on the text.
Correct.
So I went through every presentation again. And if Sir is taking 3 hours, I would easily take 7 hours to go through that presentation. I would pause, go on my text, read the text, correlate it, because once you have done this, it is there. It is there in your head. Then when you're reading the text, you're going very fast.
So basically, you have gone through the entire videos you are saying, right?
Every single video once after the class and SBLC twice.
Okay, wonderful. And I would just ask you, how would you rate the entire course curriculum training program?
101%, sir. I would say it's very good. But the major support, I would say, is your personal attention. Because if I don't had that, those sessions, those personal sessions which you had given me to help my queries, I wouldn't have come that far. Because some confusions or some topics are such which you relate with every single topic. Like the base, some base is so important to understand, like honor, negotiation, deferred payment, like these basics which would go along the entire text. So some concepts are so important. So I would say for me, more than question answer session, the key hug was your personal time which you gave me, and obviously your presentations.
So you are referring basically one-to-one call.
More than that, sir, because one-to-one call will also sometimes not needed, because first if someone has gone through your presentation, so many questions are already answered. And then finally, if you are stuck, then that one-to-one call was a blessing, sir.
Tell us about the exam day. Okay, so when exactly you decided that, okay, I need to go for the exam, or where was the center, at what time exam started, how did you book the exam? And how you spend this time, 3 hours, 15 minutes. Just if you can share your experience.
Okay, so sir, I told you started studying in August 22. 1 month I studied, then there was a good 3.5 month break. I started in January, February. By mid of March, I got bored. I was like, oh, 2 months, 60 days, I'm already studying, and I can't take it for 6 months, though I had time. Like, I have to do something to finish it fast. Then on mid-March, I decided to take an exam mid of April, 11th April, because I wanted to give my 100% in this 1 month. I was like, I will give 5 hours, 6 hours every day and finish it. Because, being a mother, you have kids, you have family, I'm a working person, you have everything. And abroad, okay, we have some help, but still it's not the same as India. So I wanted to do so that 1 month I was so dedicated towards it that I had logged out from Facebook, from Instagram, from all these social medias. I told my family that don't call me unless and until it is important. My friends knew that only if I'm driving, that's the time to work, or coming back, that's the only time they can reach me. If it is important, they will WhatsApp me. I had disconnected myself because I did not want to extend it to 6 months and wanted to do it, ASAP. But that's the kind of commitment this exam calls for. If you want to do it in 100 days, you have to commit yourself to this, So I did that. I kind of disconnected from everything and I concentrated every single minute. The moment I would come from office, maybe take a quick nap for an hour, then get up fresh, have a light dinner, sit to study, maybe 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, till whenever I can stretch myself, So that was my strategy. I invested time. But sir, when you have to invest time for a shorter period, by shorter period, I mean a month and a half, it's motivating. But the same thing, if I tell you to invest your time for 6 months, you won't be able to, take out so much time. So I would say, give your 100 days, dedicated 100 days, do your best, and you will pass. Another question which you asked me was, how did I strategize? So this was my strategy, the personal strategy at my end, my reading and all that. And when it comes to the exam, trust me, I didn't have much time. I could not review all the questions. First of all, I kept so many questions under review because I was so confused. Oh, this. So I kept all under review. But I had practically 45 minutes before I finished my exam. 40 minutes or 45 minutes before I finished my exam. So first thing I did was I reviewed my simulation, because that's where, big marks come and big marks can go. So, and it was important to also, pass in set B individually. So I went through my simulation. And my 2 simulations were not that difficult. One was an airway bill and one was a multimodal, which was fine. But there was a client application form. So I spent another 20 minutes maybe on that, because certain things which I was not sure, I went through that simulation again. Then I thought, okay, let me come to, once I was sure, okay, this is the best I could do, I've done. I was there for 20 minutes. Or maybe 15 minutes. Then I started reviewing my part A. And part A, I could have probably reviewed 50% of it, which I had put on review. But I had no time to go back to all the questions and, so it's not that you have a lot of time. It's not like that. And everyone has its own speed. I'm very slow when reading the question. I'm not very fast. And I try to read the question 2 times, so that I'm not missing those words about, except, when they are asking, accept this, or, the small little words, try to read that question twice and attempt. And I would say, don't put everything for review. I only put which I made a mistake, that only put where you really think you want to go for a review, so that if you put so many questions, you might not have time to review all. So the ones where you are really doubting and you think you may change your decision, only those questions you put forward. I didn't feel that, oh, I had a lot of time and, it was, the exam did not sound very easy. Trust me, when I got up, when I did the final thing, that time also the feeling was not that, wow, if you're getting 90, sir, at least you get a feeling that you have passed. I didn't even get that feeling. I wasn't sure what's coming my way. Not at all. Because there were some answers were so similar, and that you were not sure what you have done. You've done it right or wrong. But again, I would say, as sir kept saying, reading is the only solution. So I would say at least 3 good readings to the text. First reading could be normal, but the second and the third reading, in the second and the third reading, you need to understand every single sentence. Don't say, okay, this is seems like a small paragraph. If I have even not read, or if I have not understood, it's fine. No. Could start studying at 7 in the evening, so easily till 2 in the 1 or 2 in the morning I would study. But again, I'm telling you, I read very slowly. I sometimes keep reading it again and again because I'm distracted. It's not that I'm 100% in and too fast at it. I'm not like that. So I am a bit slow in reading questions, in reading the text. Until I've understood it fully, I won't go to the second one. So I used to spend time. But then I said in last 3 months, there would be at least 10 days which I wasted, which I didn't study at all. So don't do that, or keep a 4 months period. If you're saying 3 months, then you can't afford to waste even a single day. And by every day, I mean 4 to 5 hours. I'm not saying 1.5 to 2 hours. That won't take you anywhere.
Once you saw the result, how was your reaction?
So once I heard the result, I heard 71 and I was like, oh my God, thank God that I passed, because I wasn't really sure if I'm passing. So I was like, oh, thank God. And the moment she gave me the sheet and it was 91, so I had tears in my ears, and I wouldn't thank you enough. For all the time you gave me, I wouldn't thank you enough for this guidance, because trust me, what you do in office and how this course is structured. This course is structured for CDCS. We have to forget, and in fact, sir would also, scold me in between. Please don't bring your office stuff here. Concentrate here. And that, because it's easy to learn than unlearn, right? What we have learned in the office, sometimes we are stuck there. Don't do that. From this exam perspective, I guess just concentrate on the text and not relate too much what you're doing in the real life. Because some practices, what you're doing is not exactly the way the rules and regulations are. So I would say that stick to the text, and this curriculum is structured in a beautiful way. And sir, more than curriculum is the same. I guess it is you who is investing time, good quality time in explaining, every small little thing. And a person like me, not having the trade finance background, it is so important. How many questions will I ask my colleagues, and some colleagues will give me some answer, some will give me some answer, and my concept will be, gone somewhere. So when you are there to guide us, right? I guess it's very important the way this course is structured, and I'm very sure any of you who would go through sir's presentation and reading, I'm sure that you will succeed. One thing I would say, that 10 days before, sir told me, Garima, I think you can get a good score. Why don't you extend? And I'm in the mind, I was like, I don't want to pass on it. I just want to pass. And why is sir saying? Because on the certificate, it's not mentioned the percentage. So I just want to pass. But okay, I thought, oh, let me do the third reading and give my exam afterward. But this is important. Sir, if sir is saying something, I guess it's coming with an experience. When you pass with 91% and when you pass with 71%, the way your office, the way your seniors, everyone looks at you next day and gives you that credibility, there is a difference. There is a difference, which I never realized was important. I would say go for 70% only if in that week the annual subscription is expiring. Otherwise, don't even look at that 70%, because the moment you come out with 80+%, your office looks at you from a very different angle, probably think you that quite an intellectual. Maybe we are not, but the impression what we give to them is that, yes, we are capable of doing a lot more than what you could even think, So I guess reading, And as I said, every reading you can imagine going 10 marks above. You know, if you are at 70, one reading 80, another reading with 90. अगर आपने पहला जो पढ़ाई करी है खाली रीडिंग करी है और बहुत अच्छे से नहीं किया है तो आप भूल जाओगे आपने क्या पढ़ा है। कि वीडियोस देखी हैं, वीडियोस प्रॉपर प्रेजेंटेशन देखी है तो वो आपके माइंड में रजिस्टर कर जाता है। वो प्रेजेंटेशन इतनी स्लोली और इतनी सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी है कि वो चीज दूसरी बार पढ़ते ही आपके माइंड में बहुत जल्दी आ जाएगी। सो आई डोंट सी दैट आप भूलोगे। अगर वो गैप आ भी गया है, नो प्रॉब्लम। It could be family commitment। मेरा आया था और मैंने वो प्रेजेंटेशन दोबारा से कभी भी नहीं देखी। लाइक ISBP मैंने पहले देखा था अगस्त में, मैंने उसके बाद दोबारा से कभी नहीं देखा, बट बिकॉज वो इतने अच्छे से रजिस्टर्ड था कि रीडिंग वाज इनफ फॉर मी। और जो हम क्वेश्चन आंसर्स कर रहे हैं वो भी इसीलिए कर रहे हैं ताकि हमारे को पता चले कि किस टॉपिक में किस लेवल तक हमारे को स्टडी करनी है, कितने डेप्थ तक करनी है। एंड बाय डेप्थ आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू से हर एक लाइन का मतलब पता होना चाहिए। आप कोई भी पैराग्राफ बुक का छोड़ नहीं सकते कि ये पैराग्राफ लगता है कम इंटरेस्ट है, उस पे ही क्वेश्चन आ जाए। क्वेश्चंस में आई हैड वन अवेलेबल, आई हैड वन मल्टीमोडल and I had one application, client application form. You have to do Gary Collier, you have to do UCP, ISBP and URR. These are the 4 things where I, read their material. But SBLC, EUCP and Incoterms, you need to know very well from sir's presentation. आप अलग से बुक से नहीं पढ़ो चलेगा, मगर सर की प्रेजेंटेशन आपको आनी चाहिए। Similarity in the sense there is a similarity, but they're not the same. In the sense they would be coming from the same topic, but the question will be structured in a different way. And I did sir's questions only once, so I don't remember everything of all the questions. But what I remembered was because of those questions, I went back to the course material and studied those paragraphs again, and my understanding when I was reading that time was much better. क्या होता है कि आपने कुछ पढ़ा है, आपको लगता है आपने कंप्लीट पढ़ा है, ठीक है, मगर जब उस पे क्वेश्चन आ जाता है तब आपको लगता है कि शिट, ये पैराग्राफ तो पढ़ा था मगर ये आंसर मुझे क्यों नहीं आ रहा, क्योंकि शायद आपने उतनी डेप्थ से नहीं पढ़ा था। तो वो क्वेश्चन आपको हेल्प करता है कि वो पर्टिकुलर पैराग्राफ या पर्टिकुलर आर्टिकल को मोर डिटेल में पढ़ने के लिए। सो दैट्स वेयर द कोरिलेशन इज। क्वेश्चंस डिफरेंट आते हैं, मतलब कि मैं आपको सच्ची बोलूं, मैंने बहुत क्वेश्चंस एक बार किए थे। और द फर्स्ट कोर्स जब मैंने फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट किया था, आफ्टर माय फर्स्ट एग्जाम आई गॉट 63 आफ्टर माय फर्स्ट रीडिंग। फिर मैंने जब सेकेंड रीडिंग के बाद अटेम्प्ट शुरू किए थे तब मेरा अराउंड 75 और 85 के बीच में कभी कोई स्कोर आता था। तो क्वेश्चंस एग्जैक्टली सेम नहीं आते, बट सिमिलर टॉपिक पे आते हैं। आप क्वेश्चंस खाली क्वेश्चंस करने के लिए करिए। सिमिलैरिटी में भी आई वुड से द लैंग्वेज ऑफ LIBF इज इजियर। क्वेश्चन की लैंग्वेज वैसे आएगी मोर फ्रॉम द LIBF पोर्टल। बट अगर आप, मैं बोलूं कि वो 300 क्वेश्चंस में से क्वेश्चंस आएंगे, देन दैट्स नॉट राइट एट माय पार्ट। क्वेश्चंस का मतलब यही है कि अगर आपने कोई आर्टिकल पढ़ा है तो उसकी नॉलेज आपको फुल है कि नहीं, ऐसे क्वेश्चन आए। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, नेगोशिएशन की जो डेफिनेशन है वो एक लाइन में ही, it has a deep meaning to that definition, so you need to understand that definition. सर के बैंक में उसी डेफिनेशन पे कोई और क्वेश्चन होगा, LIBF में कोई और होगा और आपको कुछ और आएगा उसी एक डेफिनेशन में। बट आपके लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है कि वो डेफिनेशन आपको पूरी समझ में आनी चाहिए। While you are reading Gary Collier, which I did it in my third reading, I kept the printout of the article next to me, So my second reading was more from the portal, because while you are reading from the portal, there will be a small link wherein if you click that, the article will come in front of you. So then you revise that article. So every time that article came, I read in my second reading. But for the third reading, you will not have so much time. So when you're doing second reading, invest a lot of time, quality time. Don't panic. Don't feel ki, oh, I have to do it fast. I have my third reading. No. When you're doing the second reading, if you're doing from the portal, great, because the article you will click, it will come there and then. But if you're doing from a soft copy or a hard copy, keep article, that sheet with you. The moment it says article 9, oh, you go back, what was the article 9? Then you are correlating both the things. And after a point, you will realize when you're doing the third reading, you don't even have to see the article because it's all in the mind. You don't have to remember the article numbers. But when you are reading the text, keep that article sheet with you. And you will know कि वो अपने आप से याद हो जाएगा. आपको कुछ करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. You don't have to sit and mug even one single line of the book. मैंने एक भी चीज याद नहीं किया था. थोड़ा सा मैंने इनको टर्म्स पे एक अपनी एक शीट बनाई थी और इनको टर्म्स को मैंने मेंटली अपने माइंड में रिवाइज किया था. वंस जब मैंने फर्स्ट रीडिंग करी थी और वो शीट मैंने सर की फर्स्ट प्रेजेंटेशन के बाद ही बनाई. जब सर अपनी वीडियोस देते हैं उस समय आपके पास इतनी नॉलेज आ रही होती है दैट यू शुड ट्राई एंड पेन डाउन दैट नॉलेज. और जब जैसे सर मैं वीडियो सुन रही होती थी तो सर ने अगर कोई एग्जाम्पल दिया है फॉर एग्जाम्पल, तो मैं अगर तो अब हार्ड कॉपी है तो हार्ड कॉपी में छोटा सा नोट बना लो उस एग्जाम्पल का, और अगर सॉफ्ट कॉपी है तो सॉफ्ट कॉपी में मैं एक नोट बना देती थी कि कभी मुझे बाद में वो शायद लाइन एक अपने आप से समझने में नहीं आए तो सर का एग्जाम्पल मैं उसमें लिख देती थी, क्योंकि मेरे पास वीडियो दोबारा से देखने का टाइम नहीं होगा. बट अगर मैंने वो सर का एग्जाम्पल वहां पे लिखा होगा देन आई विल रिमेम्बर दैट. सो ऑलवेज मेक दो स्मॉल लिटिल नोट्स विद यू, शीट नेक्स्ट टू यू व्हेन यू आर रीडिंग. मोर यू विल, वो मतलब कि आप तो उसको 400-500 बार भी पलट दोगे ना वो आर्टिकल्स को, इट विल ऑलवेज कम हैंडी. एंड ऑल्सो वन थिंग, डोंट स्टडी दीज एग्जाम फ्रॉम द पॉइंट कि मुझे CDCS पास करना है. स्टडी दिस एग्जाम बिकॉज आपको अपने ऑफिस में एक क्रेडिबिलिटी चाहिए कि मुझे ये सब आता है. कल अगर कोई आपको कुछ भी क्वेश्चन पूछे तो आपको आना चाहिए एंड you should be able to answer. That should be the focus. ये जो हमारा छोटा फोकस होता है ना, जो शायद मेरा भी था कि शॉर्ट टर्म बस CDCS क्लियर करना है, नहीं. द फोकस कि मैंने जो पढ़ा है कल मुझसे कोई क्वेश्चन पूछे उस समय मुझे याद नहीं होगा वो आर्टिकल क्या था, बट द मोमेंट मुझसे किसी ने पूछा है ऑफिस में, मैं अपने लैपटॉप में वो आर्टिकल खोलूंगी, आई कैन एक्सप्लेन व्हाट दैट आर्टिकल मीन. आई डोंट हैव टू मग एनी आर्टिकल, बट आपको उसका मतलब पता होना चाहिए और वो गैरी कॉलियर में कैसे रिलेट किया हुआ आर्टिकल वो पता होना चाहिए. एंड इट इज वेरी इजी. द बेस्ट पार्ट इज द लैंग्वेज इज सो इजी कि आप कहीं स्ट्रगल नहीं करोगे. क्वेश्चन आंसर्स भी बहुत इजी आएंगे. सो इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज का देयर इज नो हर्डल. सो फॉर URR I would say when you see the presentation, the video of sir, after you see the presentation, open that small handout of URR. You will understand that immediately after you have finished that presentation, read that. You will relate to word by word. You will understand everything of that handout. So it's very important that after we go and listen to sir's presentation, we read. We read that topic wherever, either it is in the book or if it is a special handout like UCP 600, ISBP or URR. Yeah, so it's important. And if any notes, make the notes side by side. When it comes to Incoterm, EUCP and SBLC, I just did sir's presentation. I didn't do the text. I didn't even open that. For Incoterms, for EUCP and for SPLC. I mean ISB 98, sorry, not SPLC, ISB 98. I didn't open those texts. I didn't do that. But it's enough for CDCS. There would be not even a single question where you feel it has come out of the text. Everything is well covered. I would say you don't need to do any question paper till you have finished the first reading first. And after the first reading, just do one question paper, because it's quite possible that you will not get a very good score, maybe not even 70%, but that will tell you that you have to study more, right? So just do one. Pick maybe, let's say I did question paper 5. Just do one question paper and do all of them after your second. After your second reading, by second reading, I mean Gary Collier, UCP, ISBP, URR. After you have finished your second reading and SBLC and ISB 98 and, the EUCP and Incoterms, after you finish your second reading, then you do all the question papers together, back to back. Why I'm telling you? Because once you have done all the question papers and when you are on your third reading, you will understand too minutely to what level you have to read those paragraphs. And then you will relate, oh shit, this I had, not even read seriously in my second reading. Then you will understand the third reading. And maybe the LIBF that you can do maybe in the end or after your second reading, anywhere in between the second and the third reading. But don't do anything before the second reading, I would feel. You might get nervous for no reason. The session is only once a week. I assume you're doing session once a week, which is 3 to 4 hours of commitment on a Sunday, right? So these 4 hours commitment, you can easily read this kind of what presentation you have attended with sir, same presentation, the video recording, do that in that particular week. And related to that topic, you study from the book. Because it is so fresh in your mind. You have listened to sir, you have again gone through his presentation video, and you have read the topic in the book. So you have done it 3 times. That topic will just stay in your mind. It's not difficult. So it's very normal, even if you cannot, wait to finish all the sessions and you don't want to waste your time, just do that topic. So then we always start with Gary Collier. Yeah, you can start with anything. You can start with UCP, you can start with ISBP, you can start with URR, anything, but it's always Gary Collier. And after you finish the Gary Collier, because while you're going through Gary Collier, you will see articles so many times coming, in between. You will refer to that sheet. So they're already coming, right? And then when in Gary Collier, you have the URR chapter, you read that URR chapter in Gary Collier and the URR handout. And then in the end, one ISBP and UCP, because ISBP, UCP are going hand in hand with Gary Collier.
Thank you so much, Garima. Really, it was a wonderful discussion. A lot of inspiration to all the mentees here. So we congratulate you once again, having scored 91% in CDCS exam. And we wish you all the best for your future career. Yeah,
so but I would say last thing to all the participants that guys, you are in very good hands. Please make the most of it. And you will not get a mentor or a teacher like that who is ready to invest so much of time on you, so much of time without any selfish, motive. So I would say he's selfless. He's there to help you. Please make the most of it. And I wish you guys all the best. Thank you so much, sir.
So thank you so much, Garima.